Welcome to Kendra's Artistic Crochet Designs. And today we are going to be making a fall leaf, and this one is my favorite. It's the red maple leaf in our diamond. So our red maple leaf diamond is what we're making today. Well, we're going to start on it today anyway. All right, so we are starting out with brown. It's going to be brown, blue, and red. That's the only three colors, so this should be an easy diamond to make. All right, so we're going to chain two, and in the second chain from the hook, you're going to put a single crochet and two doubles in that same chain. All right, so this is row one, and row one has one block. This is also called the single and two doubles is called the falling leaf stitch. Oh my goodness. And we're making a maple leaf. Isn't that cool? Anyway, I just thought of that. So this is row one, and row one has one block. So one maple or one falling leaf stitch makes a block. So row two, we're going to chain two and turn, and again in the second chain from the hook, we're going to put our falling leaf stitch in there. Which is a single and two doubles. All right, and then we are going to skip these two doubles here and go to this last stitch, which is a single, and you'll always be working in the single crochets. So we're going to put another falling leaf stitch in that single, and that will make two blocks. So that is row two, and row two has two blocks. And then row three, we're going to chain two and turn. You're always going to chain two and turn and work in that second chain from the hook at the beginning of every row until row 25. Well, until row 26. So, but we are also going to bring in a blue because we need to put a blue in the middle of these two browns. And the reason why we're doing that is because the brown is our border, and it'll always be brown on the first and last square. It's always going to be brown. So again, you're going to skip those two doubles and go to the single, which is right there. And you're going to put the falling leaf stitch in there with the blue. But, well, I don't think I showed you. I didn't show you how I did that. So anyway, a single and two doubles. On the double, we only did half of the double. So let me show you. Let me show you. We're going to go in and make our last double, right? We're only going to go through two. That's half a double. All right, so you're only going to make half a double, and then you're going to take your blue and you're going to go through the last two stitches, and now you're ready to use your blue to make your next square. So we're going to do that after skipping two and going to that single. We're going to put a blue square in. Now I only did half of that double again, and so I can go back to my brown, because see, I carried my brown with me, and then we're going to put that brown in this last stitch to make the third square. So it'll be brown, blue, and brown. Okay, and then chain two and turn for row four. So we're going to start with this square. And then we're switching over to blue for two of them. So we're putting two blues between the two browns this time. But carrying that brown with me because I am going to need it on the last square. So the first and the last square will always be brown. All right, and now I kind of pull that just to make sure that's pulled through there. And then we'll go to the brown and complete our last square right here. All right, and so that is our fourth row, and we have 4 squares. So every row it'll go up by 1. Row 5 will have 5, row 6 will have 6. And you're going to do 5, 6, 7, and 8 the same way, except for row 5 is going to have 3 blues in between. And row 6 will have 4, and so on and so forth. So I am going to do up until row 8 off camera, and I will be back for row 9. Okay, so after 8 rows, you should have 1 brown and 6 blue and 1 brown at the end. So this is what it should look like after 8 rows. So, row 9, chain 2 and turn. We're going to start adding our red in there. So we're going to start with our first brown square. And then we're going to switch over to the blue. And we're going to put a blue in this first one. And then we're going to bring in our red. Then we're going to put a red square in the next one. And then we need to switch back over to our blue. And we're going to finish row 9 off with 5 blue and a brown at the end. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we can switch over to our brown and put the brown here at the end. And there is row 9 done. Okay, so we're going to mark it off. And then go to row 10. So we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're starting out with our brown. And then we need to put 5 blue in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to switch over to our red. And we need 2 red. And then 1 blue, 1 brown. And that'll finish it off. And there's row 10. All right. We're going to chain 2 and turn for row 11. And let's start off with our brown as usual. And then we need 2 blue, so there's 1, and 2. Switching over to our red, we need 1 red, and then we're going to switch over to our blue, and then we're going to finish this row off with 6 blue and 1 brown. So there's 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then here's our brown at the end. And that's what row 11 looks like. All right, and let's mark that off. Row 12. Chain 1 or 2 and turn. And our first square here is brown, and then we need 2 blue, so there's 1 and 2, and then we need red. Where'd it go? All right, so we need 1 red next. And then we're going to switch over to our blue, and we need 3 blue, so there's 1, 2, and 3. So 3 blue, and then we need 2 red, and then we're going to finish off this row with 2 blue and a brown. And that is what row 12 looks like. So here we go. Let's mark that off. And we're going to chain 2 and turn for row 13, starting out with our brown. We're going to bring up the blue and put 3 blue in. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need the red. And we need 2 red, and then 3 blue, so there's 1, 2, and 3, and then we're gonna put 1 red in, and then we're going to finish this row off with 2 blue and a brown. And there's row 13. Yeah, this is going pretty quick. Alright. We're in 13 rows already. Marking that off. 14. And we'll start out with our brown. And then we need 2 blue. So bring the blue over. And then we need 2 red. So 2 red and 2 blue. And now 2 blue. And then we'll put a brown in. No. We need, I'm sorry, putting a brown in there. We need 3 red next after those 2 blue. 3 red. And then we're going to finish this row off with 3 blue and a brown at the end. And there's what row 14 should look like. Alright, let's mark it off. And on to 15. And we'll be starting off with the brown again. And then we need to switch over to blue, and we need 4 blue next. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to switch over to red, and we need to put 6 red in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll switch over to blue, and we're going to finish this row off with 3 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 2, 3. Switching over to brown to finish it off. Alright, so there is row 15. Our leaf is shaping up. Alright, so 16. Starting out with our brown. And then we need our blue. We need 3 blue next. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we need to switch over to our red And we're going to put 7 red in next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we need 4 blue and a brown to finish off this row. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then here's our brown. There we go. So that's what row 16 looks like. Alright, so let's chain 2 and turn for 17. And we're going to start out with our brown. And then we need 1 blue. And we're going to bring this red down here. Because now we need 10 red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. And then we're going to finish this row off with 4 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then here's our brown. So that's row 17 done. And let's mark it off. Chain 2 and turn. And we'll start out with our brown. So actually row 18 is the exact, well, it's not really. No, never mind, it's not. Okay, so it's almost exactly like row 17, but it's not quite. All right, so anyway, we start out with our brown and we need 4 blue. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, so we're going to switch over to red and put 10 red in. This is the first of our fall diamonds. For the month of September. Six, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we need 2 blue and a brown to finish off this row. Alright, so there is row 18 and what it looks like. Um, we'll mark that off. And go on to 19. So let's chain 2 and turn. And then come up with, we need our blue, and we need 3 blue next. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to bring in the red. We need 9 red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to finish off this row with 5 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we'll put our brown at the end here. Alright, this is row 19 finished. And now we're going to do row 20. So we're going to chain 2 and turn. And we're going to start out with our brown. And then we need 5 blue, So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 blue and then 9 red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we'll finish off this row with 5 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 4 blue and a brown, not 5, 4, sorry. It's 4 blue. There's 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our brown. Alright, so there, that is row 20. There's 20 rows. And we should have 20 squares in that row. Alright. 21. We're going to chain 2 and turn. And we'll start out with our brown square as usual in that second chain from the hook. And now we need 1 blue. And then we need 12 red. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, and then we're going back to our blue, and we need 6 blue and a brown to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And there's our brown. So there is 21. Okay, so row 21 is done. Let's mark it off. Okay, and on to 22. So chain 2 and turn. And we're starting out with our brown again. And then we need to switch over to our blue. And we need to put 7 blue in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we need our red, and we need 11 red next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, and then we need 2 blue and a brown to finish off this row. So there's 1, 2, 'There we go. So there is row 22 finished and what it should look like. Let's mark it off. Like I said, this is a really easy pattern. We needed something easy after what we've been through here last month. All right, so chain 2 and turn. And let's start out with our brown like normal. And now we need 3 blue next. So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we're going to switch over to red, and now we need to put 10 red in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to finish this off with 8 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, switch over to our brown. And there's row 23. So let's mark it off. "24, chain 2 and turn, starting out with our brown, and then we'll switch over to our blue, and we need 4 blue, so there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we need to switch over to our brown, back to our brown, and we need 5 brown next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to switch over to our red, and we need 9 red next. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to switch over to our blue. We're going to finish this row off with 4 blue and a brown. So there's 1, 2, 3, 'Oh, darn it. There we go. And this is 4. And then we're going to switch over to our brown. All right, so that is row 24. I'm going to mark it off. All right, so we're going to chain 2 and turn. Starting out with our brown, we are needing, I'm going to switch over to blue. We need 5 blue next. So there's 1. 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. We need to switch over to our red and put 8 red in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8. Then we need to switch over to our brown, and we need to put 6 brown in. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we are finishing off this row with 4 blue and a brown at the end. First of all, we better bring that brown with us. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Switching over to our brown. We'll put one of those at the end here. There we go. So that is 25 rows. You should have 25 squares across here. So that actually ends this video. When we come back tomorrow, we're going to start decreasing on both ends. So half of our diamond is done. We'll finish the other half tomorrow, starting with row 26, and we'll see you then. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye now.